Welcome to Beyond the Horizon. I'm Bob Coates. Join me as Shutterbuggy heads to Flagstaff, Arizona to explore boondocking, also known as car camping. In following segments, we'll share some photo techniques, some ideas on processing of images. So let's head out beyond the horizon. On our way up to Flagstaff, and actually a little beyond Flagstaff, we're going to go to some Forest Service land, and right now we're driving up Oak Creek Canyon, which is just a beautiful little drive. And part of boondocking is a good time getting to wherever you plan to go to shoot. It's not just being there, although that's a big part of it. Getting there is kind of cool. This drive is just absolutely stunning. Obviously, we're on a little bit of a mountain road here, working our way up. Off to the right, way down below, is Oak Creek Canyon. When we get to the top of the area here, we're going to go up and look back down. It's just really beautiful. The canyon and the creek that's been carved out, this whole neighborhood is really nice. We're coming up on Milky Bridge, and that's kind of a interesting little subject for some Milky Way in October. End of September, October is some fun there. And then, of course, just all the red rock area around here, a lot of little hiking trails. Milky Bridge, this is a pretty cool trail to go hike. If you go back that way and go way in, it's, well, not even way in, but you can go down and in and really get intimate with the canyon on your way up there. So we're going to let the video roll on coming up the road here, and we'll see what looks good to share with you when we edit this video down. This, just so you know, all of these trees, not the deciduous ones, of course, not the green ones, of course, the evergreens, the deciduous ones all turn gold. There's a few spots where there are some maples and red. If you come up for the fall color, it can be some pretty cool stuff. And there's places along here in Oak Creek Canyon where you can pull off, park, and then hike down to the creek and make some images down there. I know I enjoy that little bit of scrambling up and down the hills and finding some compositions among the rocks and the trees and the fallen trees that have come through, just kind of thing, Okay, now we're moving into Ponderosa Pine neighborhood. Very interesting thing about Arizona, if you get out here to travel a little bit, you can drive an hour in any direction and be an entirely different ecosystem. We were at high desert below, now we're in the Ponderosa area. You drive an hour past Flagstaff, you're in the mountains. Then you can go up even higher. We have a ski area up there. As you go along, you can head back, if you're heading back down toward Phoenix, you go through one of the few areas where saguaro cactus, those are the guys that kind of go like, have the arms up. And then once you go past there, then you have wide open desert, then down to Tucson. And, so every one of these areas about, each hour is just a totally different ecosystem. So if you want to talk about, having different subjects with which to shoot, to photograph, it's pretty cool. This last little bit on up the canyon toward the top gets really windy, like, slow down to 10 or 15 miles an hour as you go around the curves. It's kind of a fun little drive. Oh, and by the way, throughout the canyon there are some campgrounds. Obviously, if you're going to stay in the campground, you're going to need to make reservations. It's especially, this time of year, it's very rare that you're going to have an open campsite. I did happen to see one at Pine Flats back there that said they had a little vacancy. I tend to prefer the Forest Service land or the or the BLM. And what does BLM mean? Bureau of Land Management. That's open land that's available, and you'll find different places. I'm going to show you some apps on how to find these nice campsites that you don't have to pay for, but you do have to be self-sufficient. You have to have your own water. You have to have your own, obviously food and refrigeration of sorts, depending upon how you do that. And then, of course, you're also going to need a commode, being able to take care of your waste materials, that kind of thing. I'm going to show you all sorts of little tips and tricks on setting up camp and doing stuff. That's what what some of today's trip is all about. It's showing you the neighborhood here, and then I'll show you some of the ways that I've tricked out the vehicle just a little bit to make it more amenable to spending time, out on the road. Having comfortable things, chairs, table, place to stand up and cook, a little bit of shade. Ooh, shade, very good. And I have a pretty cool trick for that, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Anyway, let's finish out this ride up to the top through all the fun little curves here. A friend of mine who has a Porsche who loves to come up here. He goes a little bit fast. And here we are at what they call the scenic view. But let's walk out to the very end so you get the really good look down the canyon. You're gonna catch some right over here. It's just actually, quite breathtaking. It's pretty cool. Okay, so coming up, we've made it to the very top. We're out at the end, and now let's take a look at what's happening down the valley. Oh my goodness, look at that. Yeah, it's quite nice up here, quite pretty. When you get to Forest Service land and BLM land, not unusual to have this kind of a road. Usually they're fairly well taken care of, depending upon where you are. And if you go, further off the beaten path, it can get pretty rough. I've also learned that when you're driving on these, when you get that washboard thing, you can actually kind of skate over top. So I'm gonna poke around looking for my happy place. Let's see if there's a little spot to pull off over here. I like the fact that it's all alone. Yes, I think I found my happy place. Yes. All right, so we got some shade, we got some trees, we got a nice spot all to ourselves. Okay, when I first get to a campsite, one of the first things I want to do before I start to get set up is to make sure that the vehicle is level. Because when you're sleeping in your vehicle, if it's tilted a little bit, you'll find yourself all over there, or you'll find yourself, with your feet all in or towards your head. Anyway, we have a way to take care of that. So number one, I carry a level with me. With the level, I just go ahead and set it up there. And I go, ooh, I need to change this a little bit. Yep, probably about there. I have a tool for that. Basically, got these little lifts. So this is good for about 5 inches. What I can do is just slide this under the wheel, make sure it's centered up real good. Slide this under the other wheel, make sure it's nice and straight. So I'll straighten that wheel out before I start.